Okay, good afternoon, students. 108 Indian economy. See the introduction part of Indian economy. The Indian economy, the third largest economy in the world in terms of purchasing power, is going to touch new height in coming years. According to Global Investment Bank, by 2035, India would be third largest economy of the world just after US and China. It will grow to 60% of size of the US economy. In the last lecture, I have already explained you the financial position and the economical conditions of the Indian economy. While considering the economy concept, so we know that the production, distribution, and the consumption of goods and services, that type of activities were taken place into the economy. Economy has three types. First is a capitalist, socialist, and third is a mixed economy. So mixed economy, the aim and objective of mixed economy is what? To earn profit as well as to provide social welfare development of the people through or by providing the goods and services for the consumption. See, in Indian economy or in the last two lectures, I have cleared your doubts about that the difference between mixed economy and the capitalist as well as socialist economy. We are Indians comes under the mixed economy. Capitalist economy only focuses on the profit. Socialist economy only focuses on the social welfare. But we have a combination of this profit as well as social welfare development. So, is that reason? So, as we are the part of mixed economy, so that mixed economy or the aim, objectives of mixed economy are the reasons for developing country, are the reasons for underdevelopment of our India country. So, you can analyze these things. You can realize that which conditions, which reasons. See, lack of poor knowledge, lack of quality education, lack of poor knowledge, population, high population, because of high population, the poverty line, we have crossed the below poverty line peoples, and numbers of peoples are come under these lines. So these are the reasons of underdevelopment of the nation. So the Indian economy, the third largest economy in the world in terms of purchasing power, but it will be assumed that it will be in the developed country. It will be the developed country in 2035. This will be the third largest, like US and China. Currently at US, there is a capitalist economy. They are just focusing on to earn the maximum profit from their business. The means of production and all the activities were carried out through the various processes. They are just focusing on the private companies were undertaken all these activities. Similarly, the China where socialist economy, they are just focusing on providing quality goods, quality services to the society for their development. So it will grow to 60% of size of the US economy. How it will be possible? Tell me. This session will be interactive session. This is very important part. हा पार्ट आपल्या सगळ्यांशी रिलेटेड करतो. हा रिलेट करतो. Yes, first year students, Sachin Sonavle, Supriya, Durga, Akshata Raskar, Rahul is there, Shivani is there. Just interactive session. Two-way interaction is very important. Tell me the reasons. Here they are showing that India will be the third largest economy. How it is possible? काही प्रश्न मी तुम्हाला विचारतो, आहे का आता आपल्याकडे त्या पद्धतीचं एज्युकेशन, द क्वालिटी ऑफ एज्युकेशन, वी हॅव दॅट टाईप ऑफ क्वालिटी एज्युकेशन? इंडियामधले सगळी पॉप्युलेशन, ओव्हरऑल एंटायर पॉप्युलेशन 130 crore populations are well educated. So how it will be possible? Okay, let's see. History. The history of Indian economy can be broadly divided into three phases, that is pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial. So, first, pre-parameters. What it shows: the economic history of India since Indus Valley civilization to हे AD that indicates म्हणजे decades. It shows the ancient decades. AD, it indicates ancient decades, so can be categorized under this phase. During this phase, Indian economy, this line is very important. During this phase, Indian economy was very well developed. Sorry, spelling mistake was there. Very well developed. So it has a very good trade relation with other parts of world before the advent of the East India Company. Each village in India was a self-sufficient entity and was economically independent as all the economies. In the next phase, the arrival of East India, इंग्रजांचं राज्य आलं. काय झालं तेव्हा? East India Company in India caused a huge strain to the Indian economy, and there was a two-way depletion of resources. The British would buy raw materials from India, and they are converting that raw material into the finished goods at their places, at their country, and they are sold out all their finished products in India with the high amount of charges through the various impose. They were imposed various types of taxes on the manufacturing of the goods, but that time they were purchased the raw material from India itself. It means that time, it means that first stage, that is pre-colonial area, that time we were the established country, we known as a developed country, not established, developed countries. But once the arrival of East India Company, so it caused huge strain. How? So the British would buy raw materials from India at cheaper rates, and finished goods were sold in the higher prices in Indian market by imposing various taxes. So during this phase, India's share of world income decline from this percentage. Forget about the percentage. But the reason is what? When they came, they utilize our raw material. They convert that raw material. They were purchased raw material at cheaper prices. They were convert that raw material into the finished goods, and they sold all the they were sold that finished goods in Indian market with the higher prices. So it is a one type of exploitation where by this country. Similarly, the problem is what? So again, the post-colonial Indian economy. So after India got independence, so in 1946 the process of rebuilding started, where the various policies and schemes were formulated. So first 5 year plan, then again next 5 year, त्याला आपण म्हणतो बघा पंचवार्षिक योजना, असं तुम्ही बरेचदा ऐकलं असेल. So that type of plans were developed or formulated. So India's economy is bound for slower growth. In recent months, Indian government has introduced pro-business economic reforms. and outline plans to increase. So, spending on capital investment and large scale social programs in the first 3 months of 2013. Again, okay, okay, the sectors of the Indian economy: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, and other sector. The screen is visible to all. सगळ्यांना स्क्रीन दिसते आहे. Okay, so primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, and other sectors. Organized sectors, it can be categorized under organized sector, unorganized sector, public, and private sector. See the primary sector, where the economic activity depends mainly on exploitation of natural resources. आजही काही परिस्थिती वेगळी आहे का? Our agricultural business, we are depend upon the natural resources too. Agriculture and agriculture related activities like forestry, fishing, mining, extraction of oil and gas. Secondary sector involves manufacturing. See, this question is very important for your multiple choice question point of view. See, primary sector कुठले येतात? So agriculture and agriculture related activities, that is forestry, fishing, mining, extraction of oil and gas. Secondary sector involves manufacturing. So the industrial production of physical goods. Manufacturing comes under the secondary sector. Involves providing intangible goods like services, attention, advice, experience, and discussion. Financial services, management consultancy, telephony, and IT are good examples of service sector. सगळ्यांना आता माहिती आहे की सध्या सर्व्हिस सेक्टर हे बूम मध्ये आहे. So the financial services, management consultancy, telephony, and IT are good examples of that service sectors. So the external trade and investment, this is another important part. What is external trade? External trade is what? It is an exchange of capital, goods, and services across international borders or territories. External trade, in simple words, we can say that external trade means international business. It is an exchange of goods and services across the border of our own country, beyond the borders of our own country. It means it is an international business. So in most countries, it represents significant share of gross domestic product, that is GDP. So GDP is again, GDP stands for one multiple choice question. So gross domestic product is the answer. Again, what is importance of external trade? International trade is, see the simple word, in simple words we can say that की तुमचा स्वतःचा बिझनेस आहे, तुम्ही लोकल बिझनेस करताय, बट इफ यू वॉन्ट टू एक्सपांड युअर बिझनेस, if you want to earn more and more profits from your business, then you have to go, or you have to exchange goods and services across the border of your country, and you have entered into the international business. So that international trade is exchange of capital, goods, and services across international borders or territories. So in most countries, it represents a significant share of gross domestic product. International trade is the backbone of our modern commercial world. आता तर आपण बघतो साधे साधे समोसा असेल, किंवा आपण म्हणतो की बाबा साधे काही काही जे फेमस झालेले नुसते सोलकडीचे प्रकार असतील, ते सुद्धा आता एक्सपोर्ट होतात, ते सुद्धा आता एक्सपोर्ट होतात. सो इंटरनॅशनल ट्रेड इज द बॅकबोन ऑफ अवर मॉडर्न कमर्शियल वर्ल्ड. मुद्दाम मी छोटे एक्झाम्पल दिले, मोठे एक्झाम्पल तर आपल्याला माहितीच आहे. So, as producers in various nations try to profit from an expanded market rather than be limited to selling within their own borders. स्वतःच्याच कंट्रीमध्ये विकण्यापेक्षा ते आता काय प्रेफर करतात ते टू सेल इट अक्रॉस द national border. So India trade imports. So as far as concern, or we are talking about the imports, India's major imports comprise of crude oil machinery. का पेट्रोलचे भाव वाढतात ते? That is the reason. Being a management students, you should know the reasons for increasing the rates of petrol in India, in Maharashtra. What is the reason? So the main reason, the major part of our crude oil in India, we are depend on the other countries. So India's major imports comprise of crude oil machinery, military products, fertilizers, chemicals, gems, antiques, and artworks. So imported goods are divided into the following categories. Again, freely imported items. So freely imported items, for these items, no import license is required, but they can be freely imported by an individual or a firm. And second is channelized atoms. Again, the serious spelling mistake. So these atoms can only be imported by public sector firms. For example, petroleum products fall under this category. So special permission is required for that type of import. So prohibited items, items such as unprocessed ivory, animal, rennet, and tallow fat cannot be exported to India. So this subject, Indian economy, is very simple but very important to understand, because you know the current situation of your own country. So you can write one research paper on this topic, or you can write the descriptive research paper that why Indian economy, or the we can say that the current position, or what are the reasons for underdevelopment of our country. Even you can say that the part import, and now see the India trade exports. Again, Indian export comprise mainly of engineering and textile products, precious stones, petroleum products, jewelry, sugar, steel chemicals, zinc, and leather products. Most of the exported goods are exempt from export duties. India also exports services to several countries, primarily to the US. In fact, India is among the world's largest exporter of services related to information and communication technology. So it is also the key destination for business process outsourcing, that is BPO. After completion of MBA, especially completion of MBA in financial management, most of our students, they were join the BPO industry, that is business process outsourcing industries, because as an financial analyst, they were working as on that post. So the export, import, and export parameters that I have already explained. Again, risk in international trade. Where there is a business, there is a risk. मग ती नॅशनल बिझनेस असो, डोमेस्टिक लेवलला असो, का नॅशनल लेवलला असो, का इंटरनॅशनल लेवलला असो. In business, there is a risk. But what are the risks in international trade? Buyer insolvency, non-acceptance, credit risk, regularity risk. Here, regulatory indicates the rules and regulations which is to be followed by every businessman, and which is given by the corporate governance. So intervention, political risk, it is very important, political risk, and war and other uncontrollable events. Political risk and war, it indicates, see, as an Indian, if you are going to the Pakistan and where you want to establish your business, what will happen? So there is a risk. There is a risk of political risk as well as there is a risk of war and other uncontrollable events which cannot be controlled by yourself or which cannot be controlled by a businessman, even not controlled by the country. So, in addition to this, international trade also faces the risk of unfavorable exchange rate movements. Again, income and consumption. What is national income? National income measures the total value of goods and services produced within the economy over a period of time. National income is what? It is the total value of goods and services produced within the economy over a period of time. National income can be denoted in different ways with different meaning attached to it, which is gross domestic product, gross national product, net national product. So, the India's per capita income ranked 142 in the world, while its per capita purchasing power parity is ranked in 29th in US. What are the strengths of Indian economy? Weaknesses, we know the weaknesses of Indian economy. Lack of education, population, poverty. But what are the strengths? So India is well placed to benefit from globalization and outsourcing. Demographic of India are favorable. So there is much scope for increases in efficiency. Problems, inflation problem, poor educational standard, poor infrastructure, balance of payment. You can see strengths are very low, but problems are very high. So that's why these are the reasons of underdevelopment the country. So the inflation, poor educational standard, poor infrastructure, balance of payment deterioration, high level of debt, large budget deficit, rigid labor laws are the problems faced in Indian economy. So our final note means it concludes that if these problems are solved, then the future for India looks bright. India might well become one of the superpowers of the 21st century. India, a country with potentials for sustaining development. Now, I want to discuss with you. Please unmute yourself. सगळ्यांनी आपले आपले जे काही फोन्स आहेत ते अनम्यूट करा. येस. आता तुम्ही बघितलं की इंडियन इकॉनॉमीमध्ये शिवानी इंडियन इकॉनॉमी काय सांगितलंय त्यांनी की प्रॉब्लेम्स जास्त आहेत. तुम्ही बघितलं आता की लॅक ऑफ एज्युकेशन, पुअर स्टँडर्ड आणि फायनल कन्क्लुजनमध्ये काय म्हणतायत की जर हे प्रॉब्लेम आपण सॉल्व्ह केले तर आपली कंट्री निश्चितच डेव्हलप होईल. टेल मी, इज इट पॉसिबल? शक्य आहे का हे? किंवा असेल तर मग कसं शक्य आहे? थिंकिंग पॉवर कसे कसे होणार? येस. So being a management students, you can develop a model, or you should develop a model. Even you can identify the ways for overcoming all these activities. Yes, continue शिवानी. कसं करणार हे? इंडियन इकॉनॉमी हा अतिशय इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक आहे, लक्षात घ्या. पण हा टू वे इंटरॅक्शन पाहिजे, कारण आपल्या भारताची स्थिती तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे. येस, कंटिन्यू.
फॉर एक्झाम्पल जर एज्युकेशन सिस्टम आपल्याला जर सुधारायची असेल,
कशी म्हणजे आता काय आहे आणि तुला काय वाटते की काय अजून नवीन यायला पाहिजे?
माझ्या मते सर प्रॅक्टिकल नॉलेजला जास्त महत्त्व दिलं पाहिजे थेरीपेक्षा. सध्या आपल्या इंडियामध्ये थेरॉटिकल नॉलेजला जास्त इम्पॉर्टन्स प्रॅक्टिकली प्रॅक्टिकल नॉलेज जास्त द्यायला पाहिजे असं
बरं, कसं देणार?
आता आपण
आता समजा हा आता इंडियन इकॉनॉमी सब्जेक्ट आहे, हा थेरॉटिकल सब्जेक्ट आहे. मी एक PPT तयार केली आणि तुम्हाला त्यातनं सांगतोय, बरोबर आहे. दॅट इज अ थेरॉटिकल पार्ट. ठीक आहे.
हा
बरं, मग याला प्रॅक्टिकलमध्ये कसं कन्वर्ट करशील तू?
प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये सर मी माझं ओन एक्झाम्पल देऊ
येस
तुम्हाला.
येस येस, चालेल.
फॉर एक्झाम्पल सर माझं डिप्लोमाचं एक्सपिरियन्स सांगते. आम्हाला म्हणजे भरपूर सब्जेक्ट होते तर तिथे थेरॉटिकल टीचर नॉलेज द्यायचे, बट जो प्रॅक्टिकल पार्ट आहे म्हणजे सपोज आमचे छोटे छोटे प्रॅक्टिकल्स असायचे,
येस.
तर प्रॅक्टिकल पोर्शन मध्ये आम्हाला इतकं नॉलेज नाही देण्यात आलं त्याच्यावरती. जर थेरॉटिकल सोबत जर तुम्ही प्रॅक्टिकल नॉलेज पण द्याल त्याच्यावरती तर लवकर ते लक्षात राहत, म्हणजे डोक्यात लवकर बसते ते.
बरं, हा झाला प्रॉब्लेम समजा तुमच्या एक MBA म्हणजे MBA पेक्षा जे शिकतायत ते.
हा
बट व्हॉट अबाउट 130 प्लस करोड? येस, दयानंद वाघमारे, प्लीज अनम्यूट. दयानंद, अनम्यूट कर. इंटरॅक्शन करा. अरे, ऑनलाईन लेक्चर जरी असले तरी आपलं इंटरॅक्शन महत्वाचं आहे. शिवानीने खूप छान पॉईंट मांडलाय. ओके, येस, ऑफिसमध्ये असल्यामुळे मुलांना मोठा प्रॉब्लेम होऊन जातो. ओके, एनिवेज, येस दुर्गा, येस, काय पॉईंट आहेत, काय मांडशील? शिवानीने आता एक पॉईंट मांडला. इंडियन कंट्रीची सगळी परिस्थिती तुम्हाला माहिती आहे. वर्षोनवर्ष आपण ऐकतोय, म्हणजे मी लहानपणापासून जेव्हापासून शिकतोय तेव्हापासून ऐकतोय की भारत हा काय विकसनशील म्हणजे डेव्हलपिंग कंट्री आहे. का बरं? किती वर्ष झाले? व्हॉट आर द रिझन्स? आता रिझन हे झाले लॅक ऑफ एज्युकेशन. मग हे बदलणार कधी? आता न्यू एज्युकेशन पॉलिसी आहे, मग त्यांनी बदलणार का? येस दुर्गा, कंटिन्यू.
येस. जर आपण ॲज पर आपण एज्युकेशन बद्दल बोलायला गेलो ना सर, तर तिथे आपण व्हेरियस मॉड्यूल्स वगैरे प्रोव्हाइड करून त्यांना एक्सप्लेन करू शकतो.
येस,
म्हणजे ॲक्च्युली प्रॅक्टिकल नॉलेज सुद्धा येतं आणि थेरॉटिकल नॉलेज सुद्धा त्यांना तिथे घेऊन जातं.
एक्झॅक्टली. शिवानी आणि दुर्गा दोघींनी आत्ता जो पॉईंट मांडलाय हा अतिशय महत्त्वाचा पॉईंट आहे. आणि याच पॉईंटला धरून हा जो आपला आता इकॉनॉमिक्स तर ठीक आहे, सगळ्या मुलांसाठी एक नवीन सब्जेक्ट आहे. पण हा इंडियन इकॉनॉमी हा खरंच खूप जनरलाइज सब्जेक्ट आहे. त्यामुळे मी आता म्हणजे तुम्ही सगळे स्टुडंट जर रेडी असाल तर मी प्रत्येकाला एक प्रेझेंटेशनसाठी टॉपिक देणार आहे. आणि नेक्स्ट लेक्चरला आपण म्हणजे लगेच नाही, थोडा आपलं 1-2 युनिट होऊ देऊ आणि मग त्यानंतर मी थोडा टास्क तुम्हाला देईल पुढच्या लेक्चरपासून. त्याच्यात तुम्ही इनिशिएटिव्ह घेऊन स्वतः PPT तयार करा आणि नवीन त्याच्यामध्ये काहीतरी करा. अगदी 10 मिनिटाचं प्रेझेंटेशन द्या, बट दॅट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. तरच हा आपला प्रॅक्टिकल अप्रोच यामध्ये होईल. नाही तर मी तुम्हाला नुसतं सांगतोय, तुम्ही ऐकताय, तसं इम्पॉर्टंट नाही आहे. तुम्हाला त्याच्यातनं अजून काय आहे, मॉनिटरी पॉलिसी काय ते मी तुम्हाला सांगेल, फिस्कल काय ते तुम्हाला सांगेल. बट what are the reasons or how you can develop the different models to overcome the existing problem of our country? So what is your contribution for our development of our country? So that contribution, so you should contribute yourself. You should develop a model, you should develop a different models which indicates or which provides the reasons to overcome the entire or existing problems of our country. सगळेच प्रॉब्लेम सुटतील असं मी म्हणत नाही, कधीच सुटणार नाही ते, कारण सगळं हाताबाहेरची परिस्थिती आहे. पण त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला एज्युकेशन राईट क्वालिटी, आता बघा आपण शिकतो आहे म्हणजे एक जस्ट एक्झाम्पल म्हणून ना, पण मुलं आता ऑफिसमध्ये आहेत, दे कांट इंटरॅक्ट विथ अस. सो म्हणजे काय, कसं काय एका वेळेला तो 2 याच्यामध्ये लक्ष ठेवू शकणार आहे? ऑफिस, तिकडचं काम चालू आहे, इकडचं लेक्चर, हाऊ इज इट पॉसिबल? So, okay, so that is the different part. Okay, no problem. So these are the points and these are the reasons and these are the actual position of our Indian economy. So we need to develop such a model which will definitely overcome the existing problems of our country. Okay, so that's it for today's lecture. So enjoy the weekend. Then we will meet on Monday. On Monday, in economics lecture, we will continue with the demand analysis, law of demand, elasticity of demand. Okay. Yes. Any query? Any question? Yes, Shivani.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Please write in the chat box. Have you understand the concept? Okay. Yes. Okay. So shall we stop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Enjoy. Enjoy the weekend. Goodbye.
Happy weekend.
Same.